Hey everyone, Dark Dragoon here with Season 2, Episode 45 of my FTB Mod Pack Let's Play. So as you guys can see, I'm over at our little wheat farm thing here, our Railcraft farm. And I'm adding in another cargo manager, basically right here. That way because thus far we've been sort of manually trying to keep this thing fed with fertilizer, and it burns through it pretty quickly. And unfortunately, our cargo manager here is pretty much doesn't, all of its slots are accounted for, so we don't really have a place to put it. So to fix that problem, we're basically just going to add in a second cargo manager where we're just going to manually basically keep it fed with fertilizer here, and hopefully that will keep this thing fed and will give us a lot more seeds for our trouble instead of a lot of seeds in sort of bursts as we sort of have been doing. So at the moment, we definitely want them to come from the cargo manager and go to the cart. So I'm just going to basically make a mess of of fertilizer here. That's going to be the nice thing is this thing does burn through fertilizer pretty fast, and that's not good. But this way, hopefully, we can just sort of give it a good supply and go from there. So if we put our detector rail down, it should of course be set to this setting. That way it'll continue moving in the direction it went. You could change that to make it turn around, but we don't want it to. Let's just watch it for just a second. And it'll stop, and it starts to get fed with fertilizer, and it should go until it's all maxed out. And then it should keep on going. There it goes. Cool. So that'll help us out. We lose a spot for farming, but it'll definitely be a good thing moving forward. So yeah, so I'm just gonna get some more fertilizer and fill this thing up, and when I come back, I think we're gonna get to some more beekeeping stuff. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I'm back, and yeah, you guys can see I am really far away from the factory actually right now. We are about 613 meters away in a plains biome, and you can see I've got myself a couple apiaries here. And I've been basically slowly breeding my way up to these farmed bees. They are the end of the rural branch, and they produce these wheaten combs. But the other nice thing about them is that they have really good pollination statistics. So yeah, that should come in handy. Now think I don't think we're gonna really need this over here, so I'm gonna break this spot loader just so that this area doesn't have to stay loaded anymore, and we'll just pop these apiaries off. If I find that I need a plains biome again later, I can always come back and set it up again, but I mostly just wanted to breed those bees and I couldn't do it back home. So now that we have those, as soon as we get back, I'm probably going to take a look at their genetics and maybe see what we can do to alter them a little bit, make them a little more productive and that sort of thing. And once we have that going, we're going to start looking into getting ourselves, basically putting together the things we need to get ourselves an alveary made, because I think we're about ready to move into alvearies. So yeah, so give me just a minute and I'll meet you guys back in the bee factory. Alright, let's take a look at some of our farmed bees that we got. Yeah, see, we still technically have a hybrid here, and that's what I was worried about. Both of them are still technically hybrids. I've been trying to work my way toward making these purebred, but it looks like they're still not really liking that. There's a purebred drone. Let's see what else we got here. Not a whole lot of purebred drones. Might as well take a look at. Okay, that's cultivated farmed. So at the moment, it doesn't look like they have a lot of great stats on them, and I definitely want to try to breed them, get them purebred before we really get to move on with them. And I'm actually just going to set them up here, and hopefully they'll be happy in this biome. I'm honestly not sure if they'll like this biome. Looks like they're okay with it. Look to be going. That's good. Alright, so with the rest of our drones here, Trying to remember if we actually have a couple more of them. We do. Basically, we're going to take these other drones, we're going to scan them, and then we're going to see if we can't get some good serums from them. So, how many did we have? 3? Yeah. I guess we only needed 2. Okay, so that's a purebred, and non-purebred. So, cool. So, it's just going to take a minute to obviously to run these bees through the isolator, so I'm just going to do that off camera and hopefully we'll get something cool. Alright, so ran it for a little bit and I did get a farm species serum and just got it up to full charges and excellent quality, so cool. You can see we've actually gotten ourselves quite a few different kinds of serums over time. A lot of these I've just gotten mostly different species, which are really nice. That way you can if you need a particular type of bee, you can just make one of your princesses into that, which is cool. And a couple other things, obviously things you guys have seen, but also some cool new different pollination things. Nocturnal I got from some rock bees. That is going to be really helpful. So let's take a look. It's been a little while and I haven't really checked on our farmed bees over here. They're getting pretty close to dying. I think as soon as they do, okay, we did get them to die over here. So let's take a look at them. Hopefully they've purebred themselves, which would be really great. Whoop, didn't actually want to, there we go. Didn't need that many. Let's just take a look at these guys. Now, still farmed cultivated. That's okay, because I'm going to fix this problem myself. That's the only real problem that this bee has. So we're going to take our farm species and we're going to pop that, not into our replicator, into our inoculator with our farmed princess. And that's going to start to go. And again, it's going to take a pretty long time to run. But luckily we won't have to do that to our farm drone. We are going to spend a little bit of time before we really start using these a lot. We're going to obviously give them the fast productivity and maybe the long lifespan. I haven't decided yet. Probably long lifespan, I imagine, wouldn't be a bad idea. And the rest of these bees, he's just gonna go into our gene pool and get converted into liquid DNA. So, yeah, I don't know if I sound weird to you guys or if you guys can hear me sniffling at all, but yeah, unfortunately I appear to be getting sick, which really sucks, but hopefully it will not be nearly as bad as the last time I got sick. That was really bad. So, we'll just have to see. Yeah, we have another... These bees haven't quite gotten to the point where they're purebred, unfortunately. I'm just going to get rid of that, and we're probably going to go ahead and stick this guy in the inoculator as well. That way, both these princesses will eventually be purebred. So, that done, the next thing I want to look into is getting us set up with some alvearies. But to do that, we're going to need a little bit of infrastructure in place. Namely, we need a carpenter with honey in it. Yeah, so I have to decide exactly where I want to put that. We don't have a ton of room. Oh, there's actually one thing I forgot to show you guys. I replaced one of our sets of bees with the stained bees. And those guys are giving us watery combs, which are producing when they're put in our centrifuge. They're giving us these watery propolis. And every now and then, the bees are also producing ink sacs. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, other than that, I need to figure out exactly where I want to put this. So let me take a minute to sort of think about our surroundings and what we've got here, and we'll be back then. Alright, so you guys have seen me put this together before, but might as well just put it together really quick on camera. It's not too difficult. Apparently we had a good bit of bronze sitting in here. I'm not exactly sure if our liquiducts are going to be enough. I think, judging by where sort of things are down... Oh, that's weird. bit of pollen looks to have flown about in a random direction. That's strange. I'm thinking probably the carpenter's going to go somewhere down here. I'd like to put it upstairs, but honestly, I'm not sure where I would put it. Well, actually, no. We'll put it right here. Because this is actually, well, let's see if we can even fit it somewhere in here. The main problem we're going to run into is it needs power, and it also needs a liquiduct line. So we definitely have all sorts of junk just flying all over the place. So let's get down here and take a look at what our options are. We could run a side line just off of here and up. The problem is, still need to get power to it. This is the trickiest part. We could maybe put it, can we put it here? Maybe? Possibly? Problem is getting power to it is going to be, see what I mean? This is going to just be really, really obnoxiously tricky. Maybe put it there. See, ultimately we're always going to have the problem. Things just not quite fitting. Whoops. This is always the trickiest part, is once you have a gigantic mess of wires, where do you put anything? Because we really can't get this wire around here very well at all, can we? Yeah, because this is all... Actually, oh, please tell me yes. We might have just maybe, possibly... It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit visible, but you know what? I think this might be the best way of going about this. So carpenter there. Grab our liquiducts. Have them come out side here. Again, it'll be visible. We'll be able to see it, but it will, in fact... We're not going to have enough liquiducts, unfortunately. We're going to need one more, it looks like. But yeah, so if I connect that there, that'll be good. So let me go ahead and make another couple liquiducts, and I'll grab our energy conduits and be back. Alright, let's see here. Small problem that needs to be fixed before we move too much further, and I think that might be best solved from this side. Yes. Just gonna pop this off here, basically. And we're going to replace it with a bit of sandstone pipe. That way it doesn't connect to our machine right there. And then of course we can happily put our facade back on. Let's put it on the back here. That'll work. Alright, so I did get myself a couple liquiducts and our redstone energy. So if I can even get around here at all, should just be able to hook this right up to the bottom. That's excellent. And our liquiducts should be able to hook up right here. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. So that's how I found out. Stringy comb wound up falling into our carpenter here. So this should get some honey now. And so other than that, I'm just going to cover this back up. And yeah. So let's see here. Cover you back up. That way it doesn't look completely horrible. We can see all the way through there, but unfortunately it's cramped and there's not a lot we can do about that. So honey is flowing. We should be getting some honey in here, and that's the important part. So unfortunately it looks like we're going to need quite a bit more of this stuff, and well, we have a fair amount, so I'm going to grab maybe half a stack of this honeydew, and we'll just squeeze it. Hopefully that'll give us a decent amount of honey to sort of work from. We haven't been getting a lot of honeydew or a lot of combs from these guys, which is kind of strange if you ask me. The chocolate frames are supposed to make them produce more materials, so I don't really know what's going on with them. Not entirely sure. I also pulled our Stained Queen for the time being because I want to run it off of the automated line. That way, basically I have a little more control and I can pull the princess as soon as the queen dies and have her, I'm going to get her some fast productivity as well. So, I'm just going to grab another lily pad because she's not going to do anything just sitting where she is. Because she doesn't have a lily pad. Apparently it's not close enough. It's like 2 feet away, but bees are finicky, apparently. So, there we go. So yeah, I'm just going to basically let her do her thing for a little while and come back to her once she's ready. Now let's go check on our farmed bees. They are now purebred, as you guys can see. Now that's not where I want to be done with them. I want to go ahead and increase their lifespan and their productivity. So I'm just going to stick them there, and what is there? We'll do their productivity first. Let that do its thing. And I'll put that there for now just so that that'll go. And then we'll let them run while we're doing other stuff. So, how is our carpenter doing? Starting to be filled with a bit of honey. Wow, this thing just chewed through all that honeydew we gave it. And yeah, didn't get a ton of honey for our troubles, but hopefully it'll be enough. Alright, so I want to start getting together the materials to make ourselves a new multi-block structure called an alveary. And to do that, we're going to need quite a bit of materials. In fact, we're going to need a ton of stuff, because this is a 3 by 3 by, I want to say 3. Yeah. Block structure. So we're going to need, 27 of these. And we only have, as you guys might remember, we actually only have 20, or not 20, we only have 7 of these impregnated casings. So we're going to need to make 20 impregnated casings, which is going to be crazy. Lots and lots of wood in our seed oil carpenter. And then we're going to need a metric ton of this stuff. I mean, truly a metric ton. I mean, think about it. We need 27 of these, and each of these calls for 8. So yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot of scented paneling. So I'm essentially just going to grab, 4 stacks of wood. That'll do. Actually, it probably won't do. I'm going to give him a little more. I mean, it's not like we don't have a ton of wood, but this is just going to take a lot of forestry resources. So, that's a squeezer. What am I doing? Derp. That's the seed oil. So yeah, we need lots of these, right? My math sucks. So each stack is 8, 16, and then half a stack should be 20, right? Sounds right to me. So that's going, and we're also going to need, like I said, a lot of the scented paneling, which requires quite a bit of stuff. Beeswax and pollen. We need to do some quick math here. Give me a second to do the math on this, and I'll be back. Alright, so yeah, a ton of stuff, let me just tell you. I honestly don't even think we have enough materials yet to get the whole thing done. I know, that sounds crazy, but we're going to try to get some stuff done. We have probably not quite enough pollen, which is a shame because we're pretty close, but yeah. So I think what we're just going to do is just try to make as much of this as possible and sort of see where we wind up and just go from there. It's not too big a deal. So for now, I'm basically just going to grab a stack of each, and of course we've got way too much junk in our hand here. And I know I could run this through a sawmill and get a lot more than that, but wood is not exactly a material we're lacking, so I'm not too worried about that. So scented paneling should be something like this. Look at all this royal jelly we're going to use. And that's just going to start going, basically, and then that'll give us a fair amount of those to start with. So let me let this stuff run, and I'll be back as soon as we have some materials to work with. Alright, I think it finally got myself enough of these scented panelings. Took quite a while to get going, but I should have enough, I think. I've also got a alveoli plan made here, so you can see the recipe there. It's just one of these impregnated casings surrounded by 8 scented panelings. So let's see what happens. There we go, 27 alveolis with 8 scented paneling left. And I've got actually a little bit more scented paneling going in here, but it won't be enough to do anything else, so I'm just going to let that go until the resources run out. So basically, to get this thing set up, we're going to need our 27 alveoli blocks, and we're going to need 9 of these slabs. Any slabs should do. And I think we're just going to try and decide exactly where we want to put our alveoli here. Why don't we do it over here? We don't need too much of the space. So we'll just basically do this. And just like any multi-block structure, we're just going to put this down in a 3x3 pattern, like so. Whoops. And then we're going to fall off. Okay. And that's nothing at the moment. What we need is just to slap our wooden slabs up here, and I'm staying up against the ceiling with my jetpack. And there we go. That should do the trick. Any minute now. It should update. There it goes. There we go. Alveoli, and you can see it pretty much looks just like an apiary as far as the interface is concerned. Not too big a deal. Pretty basic. Nice. So, let's see. Do we have any princesses lying around that we can use to just... Actually, I think we do. We have some marbled stuff in there that I guess we can use here. Just a second. I'm actually going to be... While we're doing this, I'm going to pop this noble species in and convert this ancient princess, because I've been working on trying to breed myself into the majestic line so I can get a good amount of majestic bees, but that's going to take me a little while. So let's see, we've got a primeval princess there, we got an unweary princess. Let's take our cultivated, that'll work. Just, again, this is mostly just for just to show you guys how this works. Basically you can see it looks pretty much just like the apiary, except it doesn't have any kind of space for our frames, and that's okay, because this alveoli is actually really useful. I mean, beyond just what the basic sort of alveoli we've made, there are all sorts of blocks that we can make, alveoli blocks that we can basically replace parts of this with, to make the alveoli do a couple different things. Like, for example, there's the alveoli heater, which will basically let you heat up the effective temperature of the environment. So let's say you have some bees that are fine in this biome, but they want it to be a little hotter. You can put a heater in there, and that will, you have to supply it with some Buildcraft power, I believe, and that will actually heat up the effective environment, so you can put bees that want hotter temperatures into the alveoli. There's also a block for your you could also put a fan in, which would obviously cool it down and let you put bees that want it to be colder. There are humidity affecting blocks. Let's see if we can actually get over to where all our alveoli blocks are in our NEI, so I can sort of show you guys. Right now, I don't have any plans on making any of these for now, because we're basically going to want to get this thing set up before we get it set up to do anything special. But like I said, heaters, fans, there's the swarmer, which is cool. Probably be easier for me to just demonstrate that once I'm ready to use swarming bees. Basically what the swarmer will do is bees will fly out from the alveary and will start creating little hives out in the surrounding environment. Let's see, there's quite a few that forestry adds, but extra bees also adds a couple. The mutator, which works pretty much like the soul frame. It'll increase the chance of your bees mutating while in the alveary. There's the frame housing, which lets you put frames into your alveary. It's pretty clear. The rain shield, which will basically make them be able to work in the rain, even if they don't have the flyer quality. And then there's alveary lighting, which will let them work even at night, even if they don't have the nocturnal quality. So lots of cool things that you can add to the alveary, basically to get around the genetics of your bees. And that's basically the trick to it. So it's going to run and it's going to work pretty well. And I believe it's a bit more efficient than you're going to get from an apiary just on its own. So it's a good way to go. I'm actually just going to toss this stuff right in here to let that run. Our squeezer is empty, unfortunately. We've actually started getting a new set of combs from our farmed bees, the seedy combs, which are giving us this seedy drops, or seed drops, which interestingly enough, we can also throw in our squeezer here and it'll produce seed oil, but I'm just collecting it in this barrel because we still have seeds coming in at a fairly decent rate, so don't need to really worry about that just yet. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually sleep through the night and figure out exactly how much time we have left and what we have time for. So I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so we got just a few minutes left before we need to call this episode, so I figured why not go ahead and take some of our alveary blocks and some golden electron tubes with some iron ingots to get ourselves 3 of these frame housings, because I think that's a great idea. So we're just going to slap these right in here, and just like before, after a minute it should go ahead and update. There we go. And now we have our alveary here, right? Well, if we right click on our frame housing, you can see each of these frame housings can hold a single frame. Very, very nice. So basically now this gigantic alveary has exactly the same capabilities of a tiny apiary, but it's going to be much more efficient. So we're going to get a lot more stuff from it. So I'm just going to pop over here and make ourselves a couple frames. I'm thinking probably 2 basic frames will probably be good, and then 1 chocolate frame. That seems to be coming out to be a pretty decent combination. Make sure that we have plenty of lifespan on our bees to make it have time to create materials, and also the impregnated frames to give them a longer lifespan in the alveary. And you can see that they produce combs at a fairly good rate in the alveary. So pretty cool. Now, just like with our apiaries, we can automate this so that when the bees die, we can basically automatically set it to recycle them through the alveary. And I'm trying to decide. Let's see if we actually have the components for that. We just might. We might just have enough time to do that. So let's take a look. We don't really have any Apiarist pipes, but we have, I believe, just about everything else we might need. A couple golden pipes. Let's check to see if we've got ourselves one of our autarkic gates over here. Just an iron and gate. Don't think we have any regular gates in here. Probably have just enough time to get this thing put together. So let me get this autarkic gate put together, and I'll meet you guys back in the bee house. Alright, so our autarkic gate is back in the factory just finishing up, and it probably won't take too long to go, but I definitely want to go ahead and get this thing sort of set up a little bit. And dug underground, obviously, and I need to take a look at this to remember exactly how we wanted to go about it. Now, I had a cobblestone pipe. Stone pipe should be good enough. Let's grab that. That there. Kind of using what we had set up before as a little bit of a guide, and then put our apiarist pipe, which obviously we need to make. But we have tons of this stuff, so the propolis, so not a big deal. There we go. And pop that right on the bottom. And if I recall, it was an iron pipe beneath it, but I don't know if we're going to need that to be there. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think we'll be good. We'll be okay just to run this down. Now, where's our stone transport pipes? Because those came off the apiarist pipe, right? And that should be able to just basically run straight over. Obviously, we're going to basically dig up our ground here, but we'll fix that here in just a minute. There we go. And that should be able to hook up right here. I'm not sure why we're getting a little bit stuck there. That's weird. Yeah, that's still fine. I just want to make sure that the iron pipe was set properly. And then we can replace, so, say, this pipe and this pipe here in the corner with some golden transport pipes, just to make sure that things stay moving pretty fast. So, now all we just need to tell it is anything can go down the black path, and it should just be any bees up the white path. There we go. And we shouldn't have to worry about setting up the blue path, because things will just go into that. So there we go. So this should be able to manage now, and you can see this is producing quite a bit of combs. And like I said, it is much more efficient than what we've been sort of going with so far. And it's possible that I could even set up maybe a couple more of these on this side of the room, maybe even replace the apiaries I'm using here, or I don't know, we'll see. But that'll have to come later, obviously, and we are getting tons and tons of resources from this alveary, which is really, really good. So there we go. So we finally got ourselves an alveary put together, and obviously between this episode and next, I'm going to just spend some time covering all of this back up. But I think, unfortunately, we're at the point where we need to call this episode. So this is episode 45, and we're coming up pretty quickly on episode 50. And I was kind of thinking of maybe doing something a little bit special for that, maybe doing a double long episode. And so first of all, I'd like to know what if you guys like that idea, and if you do, what you'd like to see me do for episode 50. So please put in your comments, leave me a message, let me know what you guys want to see, and we'll do something cool and special for episode 50 coming up. But until then, this has been episode 45 of Dark Dragoon's Feed the Beast Mod Pack Let's Play, Season 2. Hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Oh, I lied. Let's watch this thing work real quick. Just want to test it real fast before I call it officially done for the day. Stuff shooting through. It should be going right over to here. Cool. How about our bees? Yep, it worked. Cool. There you guys go. So yeah, catch you guys later.